Dear learners, welcome to the BS Masterclass. Today in this lecture, we are going to simulate monostable multivibrator using 555 timer. So for that, as usual, we have to create new project. So you can give the file name as monostable. And OK. Create a blank project. OK. And for the monostable multivibrator, we are in need for 555 timer, two resistors, two capacitors, one DC source, and one pulse voltage source. So let me place one by one. Or else first let me place the 555 timer, which is available here, 555D. After placing this, we can zoom this component. In order to view the pins clearly, if you want, you can zoom further, but for me, it's okay. And now place the resistor. So two resistors are required. So let me rotate the resistor first. And I'll place one resistor at the output and another resistor. And then place the capacitor. Two capacitors. We are made for two capacitors. Let me rotate the capacitor. One capacitor here. And one more capacitor here. Then we have to place the DC voltage source. Where is that source? Voltage source, DC voltage source. Thus we have to connect, sorry, we are in, let me mirror vertical, because the positive terminal of your power supply has to be connected to 8th pin. Okay, and we have to place the voltage pulse source. So that is available in the source, voltage source pulse. You can take it here. So that has to be connected with pin number 2. Okay. Now take the wire and connect all components. Let me connect the resistor with the capacitor and then all these components together. And then one has to be connected to the one, and 3 has to be connected with the resistor. And your 8th pin has to be connected with the positive voltage. And the negative terminal of the voltage source has to be connected with the ground. Let me leave the provision for ground. Okay. And then the pulse voltage source has to be connected to pin number 2. Then this R2 has to be connected with voltage source. and your 4 has to be connected at this junction, and then 5 has to be connected with the capacitor C2, then 6 has to be connected to the series combination of R and C, and the 7 has to be looped to 6. We should have 2 ground positions. So let me place ground. One is with DC power supply and another one is with pin number 1. So now we have to set the values for capacitors and resistors. So this time constant of this monostable multivibrator depends on the value of R2 and C1. This is R and C components which will influence the time constant. As you know that the time constant tau is equal to 1.1 into RC. So if I want to have the time constant of any arbitrary values, based on the time constant, we have to set the resistor and capacitor. Either you can set the capacitor and find the resistor R by using the formula 1.1 into R into C. If I want to have 10 millisecond of time delay or time period TP, then if I fix the capacitor as 1 microfarad, let me fix the capacitor here as 1 microfarad. Then using the formula 1 TP is equal to 1.1 RC, as we are need for TP as 10 milliseconds. We can use 10 milliseconds, 1.1 into C value. From that, we can find the R. So if you do the calculation, you may supposed to get the value of R as 9.1 K. And for this, I'm going to set it as 0.01 microfarad. Okay, and for this resistor, I can have 10K. And I'm going to set this VCC as 5 volts. Then we have to set the corresponding parameters in pulse source. So the V1, I'm going to set it as 5 volt, 5, and V2 as 0. Then time delay as 0. Raise time 10 nanoseconds. And fall time also 10 nanoseconds. And pulse width is 6 milliseconds. Because the pulse width has to be less than this TP. Then the ER is 15 milliseconds. So now we set all the corresponding parameter values. So now we can simulate, the circuit is getting ready for simulation. Before that, we have to do the usual procedure, create netlist and new simulation profile. So you can give any name for this. Now the simulation is there. And here we have to set the simulation for 50 milliseconds. Okay, you just apply this. So now you place the marker. So I'm going to observe or I'm going to view the input voltage and the capacitor voltage and finally the output voltage. So now let me simulate this. So this is the output waveform. So you just compare the circuit, this corresponding voltages, and this is the output voltage, and this is the pulse waveform input voltage, and this is the capacitor voltage. Orange color is the capacitor voltage. So that you just compare these two. So I want to show all the waveforms wherever you are having. So if I want to view only the output, I can go for the trace. So here you just remove all these selections except the voltage. And if I want to have only the output, so you can select this one and okay. Otherwise, you can remove this thing. So let me remove this markers. Now let me show the only the output voltage. This is your output voltage. Yeah. So your monostable it's output waveform of the monostable multivibrator. That's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any doubts and queries, feel free to ask in the comment box. Thank you.